Were you here a moment ago? We've just had this major technical hitch. We're all right to go again. Now, what I was saying was how we've had a flurry of interest in the overlocker that I shared yesterday, which incidentally, along with the old treadle sewing machine from Grandma, belonged to Lewis and Matt, not me. And my friend Mary Lou said, Robin, you've got an overlocker and you don't sew. And I said, that's okay. I like the idea of sewing in the same way that I like the idea of walking every morning, and I like the idea of not eating so much chocolate. Hello, Petra. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And you?
Yeah, fabulous, fabulous. Petra and I were just talking about the randomness of our cats, and Petra's concerned that her cat might come up and start chewing cables because that's its little fetish. And our cat has just come down and is about to start scratching at the control room door. I could just take a quick photo just while I'm doing that. So here we go. Oh, she's gone now. There she goes. All right, sorry. There's always a photo opportunity, isn't there, when it comes to cats? So, Petra, what's your first piece of random shit to share with us?
Okay, well, I had a hard time choosing what my random shit was going to be, but I also like to thank you for giving me an opportunity to share my shit, because basically when you accumulate and collect, you often feel like you're alone in the world. So it's really nice to know that I'm not alone in the world. So one of the things that I collect, I've been collecting these for about 20 years, are button books. So I don't know whether you can see them.
Wow.
Quite a few. So they usually got like little handles, like handles on cutlery, and then they've got the little hook at the end. And they used to use them in the 1800s and not early 1900s, and they're basically for jackets or shoes. So you could kind of like pull the button through the buttonhole easier.
Wow.
And there's all different sizes. So this one would be for either boots or your big double-breasted jackets. And some are feminine and some are male. So I've got like some silver ones with like pretty things on them, which are more for the women. But then I've got like little ones. So like these little ones are for, can you see that?
Yeah, I can. That's amazing.
They're for more like gloves or little shoes, little buttons, or even how when you had buttons on your sleeves, so you pull the buttons through on your sleeve. And then I've even got like a little teeny weeny one like this. So
that's incredible, Petra.
But I think the little one, I think that might be for a doll. Like I think, so I'm not too sure. But then even too, you could get ones like these, which were the advertising ones. And so when you went and bought a pair of shoes in a shoe shop, you would get one of those with your boot or with your shoes, and it'd have like the advertising of the particular shoe shop. And quite a few years ago, I got into a bit of a bidding war on eBay for one of these advertising ones that was from the Cinderella shoe shop in New York. And I lost it I lost the bid after like a crazy amount in bidding, and it's one of those little regrets because I really wanted to have like a button hook from the Cinderella shoe shop.
That's amazing. I had no idea that such a thing even existed.
No, neither did I until years ago I found one. I actually found my first one at the Big Cow. Do you remember the Big Cow antique shop at Woombai?
Which has recently been moved. Oh, the Big Cow, as in the Big Cow, yes.
So there was a big antique store there, and that's where I got my first one. Oh. And then and when I first saw it, I thought it actually was a crochet hook of some sort. And because I sewed and did crochet and all sorts of other things, I thought, oh, that's kind of like cool. And then when I bought it, the gentleman actually told me, oh, no, they're actually button hooks for shoes. And I thought, oh, even better, not a shoe.
A whole new thing to collect.
And that's where it started. So over the years, I've amassed quite a few. I've got ones with mother of pearl handles like that. Now I'm a little bit more selective about which ones I buy, because I've got quite a few of them now. So now I tend to select, I've stuck to ones with flowers on the handle and girls on the handles. So like, you know, like pretty faces, like this one's got a face. I don't know whether you can see that.
Lovely.
So that's my first random bit of shit.
Oh, well, that's exciting. Thank you for that. I'm excited about those now. I'll have to keep my eye out. Well, my first piece of random shit is my jar collection. So a few years ago, like maybe 30 years ago, or thereabouts, before we moved to Mount Nebo, I thought, I'm going to move to the country. I'm going to, you know, we're living in the bush. I'll need to start preserving things, because we'll have gardens and masses of fruit harvests and everything like that. So similar, I jumped. I must have been in the newspaper trading post, because in those days there was no internet. So this is before internet, and I came across some fellow was selling a Vacola set. And so I've got jars up there. I've got boxes of jars in that cupboard. I didn't bring them all out. But what I really love are these little ones, which I found at a vintage shop or an antique shop in Kingaroy or somewhere like that. And I just really love the size of these ones. So I've got I dried some chilies, so I've got those in there, and nutmeg and nigella, and I just really love them because they are for spices, because they're just little, and you only ever want to buy a small amount of spices at a time so they don't go off. But
chops.
Yeah, they're just gorgeous, aren't they? They're so pretty. Really nice. So but as far as preserving anything, the only thing I ever preserve are limes, and we do have a lot of limes, and so I salt them, and that's about it as far as preserving goes. So I didn't really, it's that follow through. It was a good idea, and I like the idea of preserving, but just not so good on the follow through. Yes.
I'm a bit the same there.
So what's your second piece?
My second one is, this is kind of like a bit of a story, I guess, because like I, as you know, I spend a lot of time in secondhand stores, and I go there on the premise of buying photographic props. So when I do my photography, I can, you know, get lots of nice little pieces and build up the textures. So I always like look around in the silver tray section, and I always have a limit that I don't spend more than $1 or $2. So I bought this little tray here. Like it's quite ugly and tarnished. It's not very exciting at all. But what I did like is it's got an engraving on it. And I'll just read you the engraving.
Yes.
It is. It's 14th Battalion Rifle Club, presented by Lieutenant Webster, won by C something K Bisney on the 25th of the 6th, 1932. So one of the things that I always do when I get home is I always look at the hallmarks and, you know, just have a bit of a forage around and see what I can find out on the internet. And then I was kind of like curious about who it was presented to, and I kind of thought, well, the 14th Battalion, like, isn't that, you know, like World War I and that sort of thing? So I kind of looked into that, but the dates are a bit later. Anyway, I went down the rabbit hole, as you sometimes do, yes. And I discovered that this, his name was actually Corporal Kenneth Clive Bisney, and I found a whole wealth of things on him, and he was like born on the 24th of November in 1912, and he served in the 14th Infantry Battalion for the Royal Australian Naval Reserve as a signalman. This was in 1932, so it was after like the First World War, and he was part of what became the Grand Regiment, which was kind of like a regional training corps. And anyway, I thought that was quite fun already when I found that out. And then I ended up finding his, the first one was his release papers from the military. So on that had quite a few things on there.
Yes.
And, you know, basically had that he received a 187.10 war gratuity when he was released from the Navy. And, you know, just gave a bit of a background. And, you know, he was 5'5", fair hair, grey eyes, flush complexion. And I was able to kind of build this, like, little story, I guess. And but what was even funnier is it didn't end there. I ended up discovering this newspaper clipping, which was about an accident at the rifle range, which I think was thereabouts in about 1932 or something like that. So he received this from the rifle range as a trophy, essentially. But the newspaper article that I found was about an accident at the rifle range where he received a painful injury to his face at the Williamstown rifle range on Saturday. He was engaged in the marking pit and apparently standing close under the target when a piece of nickel bullet coating struck him in the forehead and entered his face immediately below his eye. Colonel J.H.P. Ella rendered first aid and Disney was sent to the Alfred Hospital for treatment.
Oh, that does sound painful, doesn't it?
It just, you know, for me it's always about finding the story, and I think that's why I like buying secondhand things so much.
Yeah.
And it was just a bit fun to find a tray, $2 that nobody wanted. It's tarnished and pretty much useless. Looks really pretty with flowers and lollies on it.
Yeah.
But for this little dish that someone didn't want, I was able to find out all this information on the internet. So
I love
I guess
that.
a bit of a stalker, but yeah. So if there's any relatives of Disney out there, I haven't gone as far as looking up your address or anything like that. So.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
So there you go.
That's a great story, Petra.
And bit of shit.
I love that. I really love that. Fantastic. Well, my second piece is my very first cookbook.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that my sister gave me, and I absolutely adore this book, and I still love it. I don't use it anymore, but I really, you know, when you open up a cookbook, you know which recipes you used a lot because they still have marks on them. So this one's got a
Splotches.
yeah, like a ring there, and that was the chocolate drops. You can imagine which the popular ones were. Fairy cakes, that's another really popular one. And I just absolutely adored it. And there's recipes in here that I thought that maybe I should make. So to share them, because there's some things that I never did make, like I did do the coconut ice, I did do the fruit crumble, the zoo biscuits, that was a really popular one. I did that a lot. But I didn't do any of the egg things because at that time I wasn't really fussed on eggs. And I really wanted to do the baked Alaska, but I never did.
Did you?
No.
Oh, no.
I know.
It might be a new video demonstration.
Well, I thought that I might do something like that. I thought I might cook all of the recipes out of my very first Learn to Cook book. And I thought that I could do it in tandem with my sister. And to be honest with you, I'm just thinking about this now. I haven't pre-thought any of that, what I've just said. I'm just making it up as I go along, and it sounds like a good idea.
I think it sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, I think so too. You know, there's a fruit fried sandwich. You can do fruit fried sandwiches. Did you know that was a thing?
These were so simple back in those days too, weren't they?
I know. Hamburgers. Yeah, anyway. So I still really love this book. It's an absolute treasure for me. Yeah, so nice. Oh dear, there you go. Just thinking about food again.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like the core of how we met, really, I guess, isn't it?
It was absolutely around food, and you're still such a massive advocate for the local food industry. Well done on all of that work you've done over those years.
And you too, yeah.
It's a wonderful thing, and the region's just an incredible place for food, and we're all gearing up again because Martin's on social media every day, isn't he?
I know, he's been a busy boy, hasn't he?
He's been such a busy boy. Hi Martin, you've just done such great work promoting every restaurant and cafe and food service and everything. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it is. He's a great ambassador.
Yes. All right, Petra, thank you so much for take 2 after our technical disaster at the beginning.
It's just started pouring rain here. I don't know whether you could hear it on the roof. But,
I can't. How nice. All right, well, I'll look forward to when we can catch up again.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. If you've watched all the way through, thank you for hanging in there. And if you've watching this at a later date with your feet up and a piece of chocolate, thank you for making the time to do that. I really appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow afternoon, although the person I had on can't be with us, so I am looking for someone at very short notice. Thanks, Petra.
Thank you, Robert. And it just occurred to me I didn't do anything food related for a change. Change for me, usually it's always focused around food too. So.
I know, but those hooks are amazing. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, I love them, and it's amazing to see how many different patterns, and so pretty. I actually gave them a bit of a polish up.
I would like to apologise for the technical difficulties in this episode.
And so do you ever sell any of them again?
Probably not at